And hello, and welcome everyone to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, we're a podcast for the social distancing era, mainly because I am always socially distant, emotionally distant too, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, we were doing this way before this whole virus hit, and everyone just used this virus as an excuse to copy us.
Yeah, I know, right, man? We did it first. It was our idea. Do not steal. TM. And they totally stole. Man, I'm sure you saw that tweet making the rounds too, where it's like, man, so many great video games are coming out this year. How are we gonna stay home and play them all?
Yeah, we have an idea, and I'm doing exactly that. I started Doom Eternal last night.
There you go. Everyone's doing that, and Animal Crossing, and I haven't yet because I'm trying to watch my money until the end of the
Yeah,
month.
that's the thing. There's like new games that you want to play, but then you also got to balance the money because you don't know if you're going to be working here. It's a balance.
Well, because here's the thing too. Like normally I would be able to do it, but now it's like, oh, I might have to help support my parents because I actually have a job now and they don't.
Yep. I know exactly how you feel.
Isn't that some shit where it's like, oh yeah, Joel's comic book thing he does. Oh shit, he's actually the only one bringing in a paycheck at the moment. So now I'm like double stressed to turn out content where I'm like, oh, I better fucking get on this shit. I can't actually relax. There's that new Tiger documentary I wanted to watch. There was games I wanted to play, and I'm like, nah, I don't think I can. Also, thank you, Michelius, for subscribing. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, beyond all that, I feel like I'm going to be saying this a lot. How's life in quarantine treating you, Matt?
Yeah, but pretty good. I'm in like semi-quarantine since I'm still going to work for now. But I think as of today, like as of 8 minutes ago, like our cinemas, clubs, pubs, and I think all non-essential stuff has like closed down.
Yeah, Canada did the same. Oh, thank you, Creative Mind, for the subscription. Much appreciated. Always a good thing. Yeah, it's basically happened here. Again, I live in the country, so there's not many people here. So I'm lucky in that regard. I actually went out today for the first time in like a week because I actually needed to go to the store and get some more stuff. And it's funny, they have these new things now in the shops, blue lines you're supposed to stand behind and check out because that's the 6 feet line. Yep. And one lady got very snippy when one person overstepped the line. You overstepped the line. You overstepped the line.
That's funny you should say that. I actually had something similar. I went to a Subway and they had like the signs that said, 1.5 meter rule sort of thing. And this woman was getting irate because her kid was just running around the shop because it was a little kid. Can't stop him. But she was getting mad at the people he was running near like it was their fault.
He invaded my space. There's nothing I can do.
His space is this whole shop. Respect it.
Yeah, really. The funny thing, too, is that, you know, before all of this happened, I had my eyes checked. I was going to go pick up my first pair of glasses. I was going to finally get this tooth taken care of and everything, and now that's just on the eternal back burner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would not be going anywhere near, like, hospitals or doctors any time soon.
Here's the thing, actually. Today, they put it out in the local newspaper that the first person actually died in our small town hospital of the virus. Now this person had traveled to Germany and Tahiti and a bunch of other places and had only just come back. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, glad I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I keep hearing about things like that. Like, oh, this person went to this hospital that I've been to before who caught it. I'm like, I'm not going to any hospitals.
Yeah, glad I did. I had an idea, too, because obviously, you know, I'm one of those people who doesn't have a face mask. I'm like, ooh, I'll just put my scarf around my face. Then I'm like, no, don't do that because, what is it? If you do that, people are going to think you're already sick.
Yeah, yep.
I joked on Twitter there where it's like, hey, I'm going to get my old goth rave masks out of mothballs. And I'm like, fuck, I actually wish I did have those. Oh, is my voice all deep again this time?
No,
I'm reading the chat.
Doesn't sound like me. Doesn't sound like it to me.
All right, might fix it up if it is. People liked my deep voice there. It's like, hey, everybody, it's Joel, the comic multiverse. Then I just changed back to normal halfway through. Now this is going to be a very special and interesting type of show, everyone. To keep things light and fun, I actually asked people over on Twitter to recommend us some fun comic book would you rather situations. We're going to talk about that in the latter half of the show. We're going to cover some of the comics we read this week, but first things first, we got some news here, and actually more news than I thought we were going to have.
Yeah, well, I think that all the people thought, oh, well, no one's doing anything, might as well just drop some news.
Clearly, and thank God they did, because my assumption was where it's like, well, they're still putting comics out for now, unlike movies and television, but, there's going to come a time when they can't tell us anything new.
Yeah, did you see, I don't know whether you saw, but, because movie production has basically halted, all of the scoopers and the people in the know who don't really know a lot of things are getting really upset because a lot of them have Patreons, and now they don't have any content for those Patreons, so they're kind of complaining that that's all closed down. I'm like, well, would you rather everyone get infected, or you get a scoop that probably won't be true?
If I was El Scupo Magnifico, I would probably be quite upset right now. Is he still around, El Scupo, or am I just making shit up now?
I think he is, but I think, no one takes him seriously anymore.
Now everyone is like him.
Yeah.
He was special for a minute because he was the only one, but now everybody does it.
Yeah.
All right, I guess with that, we can head on over to the news, and a topic that I talked about a little bit on stream this week, but not much because I've actually been streaming more over on my own Twitch. Check it out, everyone. I know some of you did, but the new Warriors miniseries coming out as part of Outlawed, which I read the first issue of that this week too, has courted much controversy. But I think it's actually a lot deeper and more complicated situation than people are giving it credit for. So basically, there's a new team of new warriors coming out as part of Outlawed, and they have some very silly ass names. There's Screen Time. That's the guy in green. What's his deal, Matt? What can he do?
He got infected by internet gas, because that's a thing now. And he likes the memes. That's his power.
He loves the memes. He's as smart as the internet, which I'm like, okay, so it's Freakazoid, but not funny. That's a weird addition. I didn't think any of it at that point because they had a whole trailer thing with Kibble Smith, the writer, and they announced each member of the team every day. I'm like, well, that's a weird addition, but all right, every team needs its one weird screwball. It's not until he got to the next two characters, twins, one of which is non-binary, the other one who I think was gay. I didn't read the whole article that closely. But the important thing is that their names are literally Snowflake and Safe Space.
Yeah, the first one I was like, okay, this is whatever. But yeah, it's these two that I'm like, okay, what's going on here? This is a joke. This is some long game joke that we haven't got the punchline yet.
Exactly, and naturally, with two characters like this, the internet lost its collective minds, as it always does, but not in a way you would think. So here's the thing about Kibble Smith, the writer. He is a comedy writer. In fact, I'm pretty sure he either wrote for Colbert or still writes for Colbert at the moment. And he's also a well-known LGBTQ plus advocate. He wrote a book called I Shit You Not, Santa's Husband, about Santa's husband. That's a thing. So it seemed weird that he would use, the word snowflake and safe space, which is usually always used by internet shitbeards to deride people they don't like. And then I'm like, but wait, are there layers to this? Because he said it's about taking, those slur names back. And I'm like, well, I really wouldn't consider those to be slurs. No. They don't really have the historical connotation. They're shitty things shitty people say to other people. I'm like, I don't. And this is where it starts to get complicated, where it's like, Are you for or are you against? Who are you making fun? What is this joke? I don't get. Where is this going? And then, because there's another layer on top of that, I'm like, no, wait, this is exactly what he wants us to do. Kibble Smith is actually a genius, and that he got the entire internet to talk about the fucking New Warriors for a little bit. A book and a series no one cared about, no one was going to read until maybe now.
Yeah, this is probably the most the New Warriors have been talked about. But yeah, it as you said, it's so weird. Who is this for? Why is it like this? It's just so strange.
it's clearly a joke. Who is the joke on? It gets even weirder if you read Outlawed #1, because you find out that Cradle, basically the new military police that is, enforcing the teen hero ban, is literally being overseen by 3 members of the original New Warriors: Justice, Slipstream, and of course Speedball, hilariously enough.
Oh, nice.
And the thing about these New Warriors is that they're working with some of the other New Warriors. They're kind of like their young trainees. And I'm like, wait a minute, are these new, like, almost kind of parodying, like, to the nth degree, super exclusive or inclusive characters? Are they the fucking bad guys?
That's what I was thinking. It's like, are these like the bad guys, and they're making fun and like playing up those sort of stereotypes and stuff? Like, it's so strange. It's so strange.
It is. It's totally strange, because, like, in the back of my head, I could understand how you could do, like, a parody of this, where it's like, okay, whenever there's a new Champions book, whenever there's a new socially responsible or progressive superhero book, people are always quick, and it's always the same fucking people with the same fucking grift, who are like, oh, they're shoving diversity and inclusivity down my white male straight throat, and I hate it so much. To where I'm like, is Kibblesmith trying to turn that to be like, no, you want to see shit that's forced and try hard? This is forced and try hard, this thing I just made, but I did it purposely as a joke. And again, I'm like, there's too many layers to this, and I don't like thinking about the New Warriors this much.
Also, technically, wasn't it kind of done before, if it is indeed that? Because didn't, when the team start off, didn't they fought a team that was exactly the same as them, but they were like in it for like the hits and views?
That was the Freelancers, and they were an ultra capitalist team. Supervillain team was the thing. Yeah, the Freelancers, which I think Wade invented them, but Zub subsequently brought them back. But yeah, their bag was totally different. Yet hilariously, they were also an ethnically diverse team of ultra capitalists. Which no one ever saw a problem with. But yeah, New Warriors, weird. But also at the same time, too, it's like, I want to read it just to see what the punchline to the joke is, because it's clearly a joke. But on the same hand, too, I'm like, no, fuck you, Kibblesmith. I'm not going to read this because you want me to. You basically hacked the brains of the whole internet to get people to talk. I'm not falling for this, Kibbles. Everyone else fell for it. And it's funny, too. I think he had a blowback that he really wasn't expecting in this, where it's like, okay, I'm going to come out with this, ultra-diverse, progressive team, and the regular offenders of internet shitbeards are going to be mad at it and make videos about it and call it the downfall of Western civilization. But then I'll have people on the other end talking about how great I am and do it. Oh, no, wait, those people hate it, too, because they see through the joke, and in fact they're even calling bullshit on my design work. Well, not his design work, but the artist's design work, who I think the artist is actually an out queer man himself. So it's all very complex. It's all a fucking minefield. But just, man, what a weird ass time, and what a weird ass moment for everyone to talk about the New Warriors.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anyone who liked this at all. Like,
no.
Like, I think there were people that were okay with it, but they were like, yeah, this doesn't look good.
At best, people are confused by it. And, like, I don't know if confusion will help you buy a comic, especially because everyone is just kind of waiting and being like, is this in bad taste? This feels like this might be in bad taste, but I don't know yet because I haven't actually read the book, so I don't know. I do like the design on the vampire guy, though. Again, everyone only talks about the first 3 characters. No one talks about the fact that there's 2 other ones. I like the vampire guy.
He looks alright, but is he a real vampire, though?
We don't know. He might just be a fashion vampire. He might be one of those vampire kids from South Park. Also, the other girl on the team, who she's a plus-size hero, and her power is she has a backpack. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you have 3 super stereotypical ones, then the plus-size girl whose powers have nothing to do with the fact that she's plus-sized.
That's what really confused me, because I saw her, I'm thinking, oh, she's going to be like the strong one, the like tank of the group. She's going to be the one that like can lift heavy things. It's like, no, all her powers come from the backpack. I'm like, oh, so the thing that could easily be taken off of her.
Is exactly, which again, it's a joke. It's all clearly a joke. I just don't know who the joke is on yet, and if it's punching up or punching down, and I'll have to read the book to find out, to which, again, is a non-starter, because I'm like, fuck you, I'm not going to read it just because you made me. I want to read it because I want to, not because you hacked my brain, Kibblesmith. But yeah, there's the new Warrior controversy for you, which, again, to call it a controversy is almost to give it too much credit to, because it's such a manufactured controversy.
Yeah.
They did this knowing this would happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't like to be manipulated. Like, at least with all this other stuff, like, you can tell when something is earnest. Like, basically, when he was talking about it in that little trailer they put out, he was doing everything but winking and nudging.
Yeah. He could have just looked in the camera and just said, "This is a joke."
This is a joke, but I don't want you to think it's a joke, because if you know I'm taking the piss right now, then the whole shtick doesn't work. This is almost Kaufman-esque with all the different layers in this. This is almost fucking Andy Kaufman fighting with Jerry the King Lawler. All right, so from there, we have another piece of news, something that I'm sure many people will enjoy. And that is that Bloodshot, the new Valiant movie, along with about a dozen other movies that had to be taken out of theaters because the studio couldn't make any money on them, are coming to digital the 24th, so 2 days from now.
Yeah, we've already had some. We had Onward yesterday, which I still haven't seen. I'm looking forward to seeing that. We had
I really liked
we had The Hunt and Invisible Man, both of which I saw. The Invisible Man was fantastic. The Hunt was really terrible.
I saw The Invisible Man. I really liked that one. I hope Blumhouse keeps making cool, weird, new, modern updates on classic Hammer monster movies.
Yeah, it was damn good.
Plus, it's Lee Whannell, Lee Whannell is just a really good director, and I think a lot of people don't give him his needed respect.
He's had an interesting career.
Boy, very Sam Raimi-ish, and this is like his big return to horror.
Yeah.
Bloodshot, which I haven't seen, but I want to see because, it's Valiant, and because I made that whole video on Bloodshot to try and tie into the movie that didn't do great, and I knew it didn't do great, but I had to test the waters anyway. Because, it's the first of its kind. It might launch a whole universe. People might be interested. You gotta check that shit out. But yeah, that comes out. That new Guy Ritchie movie, The Gentleman, comes out. I want to see that.
Yeah, I want to see. I heard good things about that and never got a chance to see it in the cinema.
Everyone's saying it's the return of Guy Ritchie, that he's like actually good and cool again, and that the movie is weirdly semi-autobiographical because it's about an aging crime boss coming out of retirement to prove he can still do it.
That's great.
I'm like, oh, just replace crime boss with director, and there you go. Did the crime boss also marry Madonna for a few years and have his work horribly suffer because of it?
Oh, he did? Wow.
Damn, this is really autobiographical. What else? Has nothing to do with this, but Dan Segura is going to have a new comedy special on the 24th on Netflix. I enjoy his work. Dark Side of the Ring. I know you just got into wrestling there, Matt. You should check out the Vice documentary series Dark Side of the Ring. It's coming back for season 2. It's basically behind the music with all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but for wrestling.
Yeah, I swear I've seen an episode. I know that does sound familiar. I swear I've seen something about it.
It's very educational, and the first episode they're doing is Chris Benoit, the French-Canadian wrestler who went nuts and murdered his whole family.
Yeah, well, that'll be a good episode.
Yeah, that'll be very... Well, apparently they put I couldn't watch it because it was in America, and I would need a friggin' VPN for it, but apparently they put out the first hour for free for people to watch.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so definitely check that out if you're in America and that sounds interesting to you. So, yeah, lots of good movies coming out. It's so funny. I really do wonder what the analytics will be and the stats when they get this back, all these movie studios. If they're like, hey, we don't have to keep releasing these to theaters. We can actually put first-run movies out on digital and make an okay buck back.
That's the thing. Like, I think this might cause a somewhat paradigm shift in how films could be delivered because, yeah, if enough people get them, then they'll say like, well, why don't we put it in theaters for 3 weeks and then immediately on VOD and DVD? Like it could cut out that whole waiting 3 to 5 months for the DVD and digital.
I mean, all you need for Oscar contention is to play in New York or LA for 2 weeks is all you need.
Yeah, or not even there. Just make it available to the Oscar people.
And, people bring up in the chat the idea of pirating, where it's like, here's the thing. I firmly believe when it comes to piracy, if you give people the ability to buy and to get their media legally, most people will get it legally,
Yep.
or the majority of people will, and the people who do pirate were never really that interested anyway.
That's exactly how it is, because here in Australia, it's very difficult to get certain things because of like it gets tied up with like companies that want to charge you heaps. But when this happened, they were just available on the PlayStation Store, so I was able to just like go in and buy them.
Yeah, Canada, very similar to what you were saying right there. And yeah, I will be interested to see how this changes things. And just, man, what a crazy-ass time we're living in. We'll be able to tell our grandkids, like, yeah, there was 3 months there where we all had to stay inside because of a virus, and Hollywood just released all their movies to us directly because they would rather make some money instead of no money.
Yeah, they still have yet to do, like, some of the bigger budget films, big tentpole films that have yet to come out, but I have a feeling that maybe some of them might be doing it because, like, where else do you put them?
They're being very mum on Black Widow, and in fact, that leads us into our next story, and that is that Wonder Woman 84 straight up says that it's refusing to move, that it is sticking to its summer release date, which, is, positive wishful thinking that all of this will be cleared up by the summertime, and God willing, it will be before that. Unless shit gets really fucking dark. But it's interesting that they're just putting their foot down and being like, nope, this will be a friggin' summer release come hell or high water.
Yeah, it's definitely that is wishful thinking, with them thinking it's going to be all over by the summer. And it definitely absolutely could, because things are changing day by day. But as well as like, it's getting kind of a bit cocky there, because it could easily just continue on into the summer. And then what are they going to do?
It's true. I see why they want to do it. And that is like, look, this is our year. We have no Guardians of the Galaxy to contend with. The summer is completely open. This is the year that DC, Warner Brothers, and Wonder Woman, own the summer, basically.
Well, see, that's the other thing. That the cinemas could reopen in time for it to come out. But it doesn't guarantee you that people will come. People could still be worried about the virus,
afraid of big meetings,
still want to, limit their social interaction.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, I think the estimate I heard from someone who has a family member who works in the CDC is something like, the most positive forecast for this is 3 months until we're all allowed to go out again. Probably a year to where it's all completely eradicated.
Yeah, it's not something that's just going to go away overnight.
Yeah, which again, where it's like, come on, I mean, Japan is close to canceling the Olympics and all this other stuff. They're not quite canceling WrestleMania. They've canceled all the cons.
Yeah, all the cons are gone. E3's been canceled. Like, yeah,
although, I mean,
yeah, that was going to get canceled anyway.
I mean, that was only a couple years to them just being like, fuck it, we're just going to do all these and put the trailers out ourselves, which actually, I wonder if this will hasten the death of E3.
I think it will.
Yeah. Man, that'll be really weird when we're all sitting around watching E3 stuff but no actual convention.
Yeah, that'll be our first time at E3.
Yeah, really, our first time. I mean, come on, I want the, experience of being there, of Todd Howard coming out and lying to me.
Yeah, to my face, in person.
Todd Howard, he's just going to come to all of our houses, throw a magic box. Hey, everyone, Todd the Liar here, and I just wanted to say... that we got lots of great new adventures coming for you. I want Ubisoft to come to my house, and I want them to show me a bunch of trailers that are, going to actually be downgraded when I get to play the game. That's what I want.
Yeah, and that's the thing we're going to learn, that, like, Fallout 76 was the patient zero of the coronavirus, because, it's fucked up everything else. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, Todd accidentally released the virus or something.
Oh no, I created a game so broken and horrible it made people sick, and I'm not just talking about the mole that was in the helmets. Man, I love that Fallout 76 is this broken hellscape, that everything that can go wrong with that game does go wrong with that game.
And it still goes wrong. I still follow Jim Sterling's reports on it. It seems like every other month there's like a report on it.
They're glorious. My favorite story is when they put in like those $100 additions, where it's like, yeah, pay $100 and you'll get all these advantages over all the people who pay for free, even though they didn't pay for free because they paid $70 to have the game. And you had people forming like anarchist gangs to hunt down the players who paid $100 and just grief them to death so they never want to play anymore. And I'm like, yes, French Revolution, let us rise up. We will not just eat cake, you $100 paying Fallout 76 players. And yes, I know Marie Antoinette didn't actually say let them eat cake, but still. But yeah, so there's the Wonder Woman news for you. Do you think Black Widow will move? Because Black Widow would be the first to move. Do you think they would just wait to release, or do you think they would say, fuck it, we're just putting it on digital?
Well, yeah, it's like, as of now, it's meant to be released in like a month or so, like for me at least. So, and that's not going to happen here because cinemas are closed. So I could see it released on there. I think what they'll do, if they do release it, they won't put it on Disney Plus first. They'll put it on the VOD where you got to pay like the $19 or however much those other ones were, so they can make a bit of money, and then after like a month or so, put it on Disney Plus.
Because, that's what they did with Star Wars and Frozen and everything. Yeah. It'll be interesting because I know a lot of people were saying, like, is Black Widow a strong enough character to hold up a big movie release on her own? You and I kept saying yes. So I almost kind of hate the idea that if it did come to that, the movie wouldn't get a chance to prove people wrong.
Well, it's extenuating circumstances. It can't go to theaters if they're all closed.
Very, very, very. I would feel less vindicated, and naturally, I'm the most important one. But yeah, there's your movie news for you there, everyone. More new comic book news coming from the world of Marvel. Along with that new Warriors trailer, the next day we got a little bit trailer for Children of the Atom, the next in the never-ending sea, it seems, of X-Men titles. And honestly, I gotta eat some crow on this one, Matt, because turns out my theory about what this book was 100% wrong. I assumed, this is gonna be about the Chimera mutants and how they start, because you got one that kind of looks like Gambit and one that kind of looks like Cyclops. Honestly, this still might end up being true, but it didn't sound that way from the trailer. This is actually apparently about the next generation of mutants. This is the new mutants is what this is. And what makes them different from the Krakoa mutants is, by the sounds of it, they don't live there. They have parents. They have secret identities.
That's what really excites me about this, because like Marvel don't really do secret identities all that much. So now that they're doing that, really excites me.
Especially not for the X-Men. And also, it seems like these kids are going to be fighting traditional crime and not dealing with the day-to-day operations of Krakoa, to where I'm like,
Yeah, that's what really intrigues me about this. It's different. What also intrigues me is that how does Xavier and Krakoa feel about these mutants?
Fit into this. Yeah, because it's not like, obviously we've seen what a tyrannical control freak he's become. He's not going to let these kids run around and do whatever they want.
No.
And again, I keep thinking there could be a really dark like stinger to this book where it's like, well, why does one kind of dress like Cyclops, and why does one have Gambit power? I'm expecting Xavier to walk out the end and be like, oh, we impregnated their parents with DNA. That's totally us. This is how we seed the next generation of mutants to take over the world, to have them kind of become celebrities, because according to the lady who's working on this, they have, these are kids with TikTok pages and Etsy stores and everything, and like they are very prominent Zoomers, which I know some people got really pissed off when she used the word Zoomer, and I'm like, why? Generation Z, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, no.
Apparently there was a bunch of people super pissed about that.
They're probably millennials or boomers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the old ones now. Millennials, we're nearing 40.
Yeah, no, it sounds really cool. And as you said, that would actually be really cool if there was that sinister undertone of like, these are all like an experiment of Xavier. This is like how he tries to weed out humanity.
Yeah, exactly. By being like, look, we become, because he even kind of said that, where it's like, look, we have a country now, so now we have to build a culture. So having mutant celebrities, young hip mutant kids taking over the apps and getting all the followers and everything would be a really sinister way to do so.
Yeah, they've already started taking over like businesses and stuff, because they got the X Corp and the Hellfire Club with their like pharmaceuticals and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is like the next logical step.
When are we gonna get the mutant banks? Magneto said he was gonna take over the mutant banks. When are we gonna get that?
Yeah, the bank book.
The bank book, yeah. It's just yes, the new mutant number cruncher who has the power to crunch all the numbers. It's just him being like Form 76, diversify portfolios. Yes, good. It's just 20 pages of that. People are asking who's writing this one. I follow her on Twitter. What's her name? Vita something. Which I want to say this might be her first. This is definitely her first big book with Marvel, but I think she's done some work for them before.
Is it Vita?
This is
Ayala?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it.
I can't say her last name.
I'm glad you said it, Matt, because I would have butchered it too. I follow her on Twitter from something completely different because she just has like a good Twitter page. But yeah, that's I was gonna call it New Mutants, but no, it's Children of the Atom, and it looks interesting. It looks like it could go either way. It's definitely a different flavor for the X-Men books, and even though I kind of begrudge, like, another X-Men book I have to read, at the same time, I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun, though.
It's interesting, and if they definitely follow through with, having a sinister undertone like all the other mutant books have, it could definitely be very interesting.
I do kind of laugh, too, where it's like, yeah, they're young, hip teen heroes. I'm like, aren't the champions supposed to fill that role? And then I'm like, oh, the champions don't have a book right now. Shit.
Yeah, and they're being hunted by the government.
And they're getting... Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole teen hero thing gets, gets worked out by the time this book eventually comes out, because here's young teen heroes doing stuff.
Or they'll do something where it's like, oh, they're not technically teens, they're all 20.
There you go. Or they're not technically humans, so, it doesn't count for them.
They're not governed by human laws.
You know, that actually kind of makes a lot of sense, because Krakoa is its own nation. It does offer amnesty to every mutant, and they are mutants, so would they technically get to circumvent that law?
Yeah, and we've seen them abuse that diplomatic immunity like whole hog. Yeah. Like, every time it comes up, it's always abused.
Man, that would be so crazy if Outlawed ends and they don't fix the law, so the champions have to sit at home or fight the government to fight crime, and these ones are the only guys who get to fight it legally. That would be so fun. DNG tax-exempt mutants. Not tax-exempt mutants yet, but Nightcrawler is working on that new mutant religion, so soon. Soon they're gonna do it. Man, I really cannot wait to see what Nightcrawler's mutant church is going to be all about.
Oh god, that's going to be great. He's going to go on a mutant crusade or something. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, man. Oh, the mutant holy war. Friggin' Kurt. All right, now we're going to go claim Jerusalem. Yes, Jesus was a mutant. I mean, he walked on water. He turned, water to wine. Obviously mutant, guys. We're claiming him. He's ours now.
That's got to have been in, Jonathan Hickman's head.
Yeah, it's like in a sticky note up on the top there, Jesus mutant ?
Yeah, it's circled.
Oh man, he starts sanctifying people from history, like like how the Mormons claim people after they die, and they're like, George Washington, also mutant. You didn't know it.
Yep.
He's Saint George Washington of the Church of the Atom. Just keep picking all sorts of people from history. James Brown, hardest working man in show business. It was his mutant power. Do you think anyone could dance or sing that well if they didn't have mutant genes? Yep, that's why. It was all him. In the comments section, everyone, tell us other great people from history that the mutants could claim as part of their church. That's good shit. All right, so what do we have after that? Some big news coming out of the world of Star Wars. Obviously, if you watched Clone Wars this week, we got the big return of Ahsoka Tano to kick off their brand new arc to fill the gap of what happened to her at the end of the Clone Wars. But guess what, Matt? There was more than that, because they announced, holy shit, Ahsoka's gonna be in the friggin' Mandalorian Season 2, and she's gonna be played by Rosario fucking Dawson.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. I don't think Ahsoka should be in the Mandalorian.
Don't you now? Do explain.
I liked that the Mandalorian was cut off from all of the Rebellion, Clone Wars, Skywalker saga stuff. It was its own thing in its own part of the universe. separated from all that Jedi stuff. It allowed like characters like the Mandalorian, like gritty bounty hunters and all those sorts of things to take precedence over the Jedi and Force users. So bringing her back in kind of feels like they're just shoehorning her in just because she's a popular character. Like, I obviously, you can tell from her inclusion that you can tell the story will be, oh, she's going to come after the child or want the child.
Or something like that. I mean, it's funny you said, that it's so, what is it, its own thing in its own island from the other Star Wars stuff, yet hilariously is made by Dave Filoni, who helped create her for Clone Wars originally, and did Rebels, and did this, and in fact, she always kind of came back with the idea that she was the fulcrum of the Resistance, and when that show ended, she was going to go to uncharted space to look for Ezra. I think my best case scenario, and I trust Filoni to do this, she'll be in one episode for a bit. Maybe it has something to do with the Darksaber, because obviously she's fighting Darth Maul in this season. It's probably going to have to do something with that. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe it has nothing to do with the child. It's, I got to get this ancient Jedi artifact back, because reasons. And then supposedly the next rumor there was that if this proves popular, and there's no doubt that it might, they want to spin Ahsoka off into her own live action show.
I'd like to see that as that live action show being the sequel to Rebels.
Same.
Just speaking of that, that's another thing. Like, she would, as you said, only have to be in it for a little bit because The Mandalorian takes place at the same time, around the same time. She would be off with Sabine in the unknown regions looking for Ezra. So, like, she could appear as, like, a hologram or something, or a vision. But I had a really cool idea, which would be like, oh, what if instead of being a protagonist, she's an antagonist and wants the child because she sees the child as, like, the start of the new Jedi, or like a new thing, but like because
the child will bring balance to the Force.
Yes, something like that. But because the Mandalorian now has to look after the child because he's part of the clan and everything, he doesn't want that for the child because he's seen the shit the Jedi and Sith and all that sort of get up to, and doesn't want the child to be part of any of that. So there's that sort of clash between the two of them.
Also, having the Mandalorian fight Ahsoka would be interesting, too, because you get all the visuals of a fight with a Jedi, but you get the little caveat of, like, well, I never finished Jedi training, I'm a Jedi exile. I'm pretty fucking good. But if he loses, you can still have the caveat of, like, well, he didn't lose to a full Jedi, though. Or if he wins, where it's like, well, she wasn't a full Jedi, though. Even though she's, like, one of the best.
Yeah.
Now, here's my thing. Where's my fucking Asajj Ventress show now? Because we got to explain what happened to her.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty damn sure the last season of Clone Wars isn't going to do it. And I know they have that book that was pretty cool where it was her and Voss trying to kill Dooku and everything. Let's adapt that into something, please.
Yeah, she technically died in the book, as Mitchell points out, but I think there's probably a story there you could probably tell with her. Because I think it was left vague. I haven't read Dark Disciple in a long time. But I think it was left pretty vague. Because
also, too, it's like, we got to answer that. And I guess we got to answer what happened to Cad Bane, too. Yeah, I know there was that story reel stuff, but still.
I don't count that as canon.
No, even though Filoni and his team have said those were canon as they did other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
I just want Cad Bane to be alive, even just like an old Cad Bane to show up in Mandalorian somewhere.
Just do like an Unforgiven story with him.
Yes, exactly. He's an old man now. He's the sheriff of some backwater planet. He's like, I know you. You're a bounty hunter. I used to be the best bounty hunter. Ooh, then you can redo that scene from the story reel where, like, maybe Mando gets, like, a dent in his armor from where Bane shot him.
That'd be great.
Because that's such a cool scene. I just want to see that recreated. And I know they had that for young Boba Fett in mind, but still. That's what I would do, but that's just me. I know, too, as people were quick to bring up with Rosario Dawson. It's like, didn't Rosario Dawson get canceled not too long ago? I know it's the internet and everyone gets canceled eventually. I'm not going to bring the show down by bringing it up, but yeah, she got into trouble. Her family, too. Go read Wikipedia if you're interested in it. It all seems very kind of like, that's fucked up, but,
I found like this casting news, which I think has been confirmed to be true. I'm not too sure yet. I think it's still up in the air. But like I found it to be not true to begin with, because a lot of people were fan casting her as Ahsoka, and I'm thinking, when something like that happens, I'm thinking, I don't know if that's true or not. And really, I think Ashley Exon should play the live action Ahsoka. She voices her. She's voiced her for so many times. She kind of looks like her. She's cosplayed as her before.
I agree for voice reasons. Then again, I'm trying to think myself to where it's like, okay, well, if she was like a young woman at the beginning of the Clone Wars, and what is it, like a 20-something by the time that series comes to an end, and an adult as Fulcrum, so she'd be like what, late 40s, early 50s, maybe by the time of the Mandalorian.
We saw her around the time of the Mandalorian in that last episode of Rebels, and I think because her race like ages differently, she didn't look too. I think she was a little taller.
You do get the alien exemption, don't you?
Yeah.
That's true, but yeah, should be interesting. Also, too, now that Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka, a lot of people were fan casting her for She-Hulk, even though she was already part of the Marvel Universe for something else. Do you think this cancels that out, or do you think she can double, triple dip?
Yeah, I think she can double dip. I mean, I don't think the Ahsoka role in Mandalorian will be that big.
No, and she's going to be so made up and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, all right, what else do we got going on after that? Here's a fun story. Here's just a feel-good story I want to bring up. Jake Johnson, the guy who played old schlubby Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse as part of this whole, like, quarantine thing, he's actually telling parents to DM him, and he'll call your kid and, cheer him up and make him feel better during these uncertain times. And I'm like, wow, that is the sweetest, most Spider-Man-ass shit I've ever heard.
Best Peter Parker.
Confirmed, everybody. The best Peter Parker is him. Sorry, Tom Holland. You're gonna have to up your game a little bit here. You just got out wholesomed.
Yeah, that's really cool. I liked him as Peter Parker. I thought he was pretty good.
Me too, definitely. Also, thank you, Great Mind, for following, or Creative Mind. He did the thing with the threes that activated my selective dyslexia. It's a real thing that happens, everyone. Selective dyslexia makes my job really difficult. But no, that's really sweet and really awesome of him to do that. And in such trying times, it's nice to be able to see, some guy doing good.
Yeah, very nice.
Also makes me hope too. I'm like, man, I hope you come back for that next movie then.
They're totally making that.
They are, I know, right? We haven't seen or heard much of it since they had that little announced trailer, but yeah, it's definitely happening.
Yeah, I hope he does come back, even if it's just for like a scene.
Someone in the chat said, but what if I want Andrew Garfield to call me? No one wants Andrew Garfield to call me.
He doesn't want to call you.
No, if Andrew Garfield called me right now, I'd be like, what the fuck you want, Garfield? You better have my money. Where's my money? Where's my money, Garfield? Do you hate Mondays yet? You will, because give me my money. No, I'm sure Andrew Garfield is nice too, but still. Tobey Maguire. What's Tobey Maguire calling me? What has Tobey Maguire been doing the last little bit?
I don't know. I can't remember the last movie I saw him in. I think it might have been The Great Gatsby.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was in the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, the one that had incredibly amount of CGI in it for some reason.
Okay, let's go to Wikipedia and see his filmography and see what he's been up to. Quick, Matt, stall for time while I check.
It might have been the time. It might have been while Spider-Man was going. I know he broke his back and it took him out of commission for quite a while.
Oh, he's also Adult Tim / the narrator from The Boss Baby in 2017.
Oh, so he's really hitting that ceiling.
Man, can you believe that show already has 3 seasons of like its follow-up show on Netflix?
I can, because they're all like 5 minutes long, and I imagine they produced like 40 seasons in like a day.
It's really quite a hell of a thing that, Pixar's like, oh, we need to protect our brands and our characters and, make sure if we do sequels, it's because we really have an important story and everything. DreamWorks is like, movie did okay, fine, 3-season Netflix follow-up, go.
It's the same with that, what's that other one, Minions?
Yes, also that.
Yeah, which is new movie got delayed because of the coronavirus, and everyone, there's the first casualty of the coronavirus, that new Minions movie.
Oh no, not the Minions. I apparently hear that How to Train Your Dragon show is all right because again it expands on what was already pretty interesting lore, and they got Jay Baruchel and most of the voice actors back.
Yeah, there was a Tangled TV show as well. Apparently that only just finished up recently.
Yeah, and apparently it was pretty damn good, is what people were saying, because it also grew the lore, and in fact they took a bunch of the ideas they had for an unmade sequel and put it into that.
Did you hear that? Apparently, since the coronavirus struck, popularity in Tangle went up because in the movie the kingdom is called Corona. So I think early on when the coronavirus happened, people were searching that and they were coming up with Tangled and oh, I'll watch this show. Maybe this will tell me how to survive the virus.
And I mean, Rapunzel was, practicing social distancing most of her life. She lived in a big, tall tower, kept everyone else away.
Yeah, they were also human in there. So how did they know?
How did they know? How did they know? You gotta follow the money, Matt. It's always about that. Tangle tells you to follow the money. Rapunzel, the OG otaku. Yeah, she was up there writing Naruto fan fiction this whole
time.
With
her body pillows and anime.
Yeah, posting on her live journal, Apparently the villains in the Tangled show were better than the one in the movie.
Yeah.
Or at least, more active. That was Eartha Kitt, wasn't it? Or no, not Eartha Kitt. Who played the villain in that one? Mother Gothel. I know she had that song everybody really
I can't remember.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. It's not important. Tangled save us. Yes, in this hard times, everyone. Tangled will save us from the coronavirus. Good shit. All right, what else do we have going on here? Ooh, we got a surprise trailer. I didn't think they'd be dropping it so early, but then again, the show comes back in April, so maybe it's not early at all. We got a pretty full trailer for Harley Quinn Season 2.
Yeah, I still haven't finished Season 1.
It's good shit. Now is totally the time to do it. It's all very, very funny, and this trailer kind of spoils how the first season ends, and that is Gotham City is utterly destroyed. The, Legion of Doom. Yeah, we're doing fucking No Man's Land in this comedy show, right down to Penguin and Two-Face and all the other villains dividing the city with a map.
Yeah.
And of course, Harley is pissed off because, even though she defeated the Joker and she, led to the destruction of the city, Batman also seemingly gone too. They didn't give her a piece of the city, so she's mad about that naturally.
Yeah, so she's got in this picture she's got the revenge board with all the different villains on it, and Mr. Freeze and Penguin and Riddler and all that. So yeah, I'm guessing the season's just going to be about her getting revenge on each of them.
It's a gang war. It's about taking over the whole city. Yeah. I actually quite enjoy their Mr. Freeze design here. It's New 52 inspired, but it's better than the New 52.
It looks good.
Yeah, he's got the mohawk, he's got the exposed arms and everything. I'm like, I should hate this, but this looks pretty good in the art style of this show.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. Bane makes a great joke in the trailer where he's like, I am rising. I'm like, I get it. He's making another Dark Knight Rises joke. We see parademons in the trailer. That's pretty slick.
Yeah.
We see an Eartha Kitt-inspired Catwoman that I'm like, yeah, okay, this really works for the show. That's solid. Also with her, too, that means we're that much closer to a full-on Gotham City Sirens reunion.
I have to think that's on the card somewhere. Season 3, maybe.
They look to be setting her up as the third friend to balance out the Harley Ivy personalities. Yep. Which I'm totally down for that. Batgirl Barbara Gordon is in it wearing a proto version of her DC Rebirth costume, like she's just starting her superhero career now because Batman's gone and the city's gone to shit.
I imagine that'll probably be a plot point as well. Yeah, she takes over.
Yeah, I am really interested to see what Batgirl is like in this show because of what a fucking hilarious mess Gordon is in this universe.
Yeah, Gordon's fantastic in this universe. I love him.
Christopher Maloney, man, he played a serious TV cop for years on SVU, and then you're like, oh yeah, you're also a comedic actor and very funny.
That's the thing. He's playing Stabler by way of his character from Happy.
it's an amazing mashup. It really, really is. What else do they have here? Oh, they seek to imply that maybe Harley and Ivy are getting a little closer in their relationship, where I'm like, see, so all the people who said I was stupid for implying that in my first season videos can suck it, because there you go.
Have people been reading comics lately? Do people know what the whole deal is?
Apparently not, or they just cannot. They can't deal with it. They're like, I like this show, it's funny, but I can't like it if there's gay in it.
The vagina people like each other. I can't like it.
No. Can't have that. I have such a case of the not gays. The idea of two women being gay just sickens me entirely, is what they would say. But yeah, so it looks really funny. I can't wait for it. They're going into some really interesting directions in this show. Man, I really I knew there was a 50-50 chance this show might make it, but now it's like, no, this and Doom Patrol are like the only reasons to have the DC Universe app.
Yeah, it's very strange, because it feels like they actually pumped a little bit more money into this show compared to like Young Justice or like some of the other stuff.
You know, I don't even think it's a matter of they put more money into it, but because it's a comedy, they knew where to spend their money, and so it's fine for characters to just sit and talk to each other for a bit. And the backgrounds are kind of cheap and everything, and they don't really need to do a lot of action, or if they do, it's really quick and it's over.
I think what I like is that it's not that those new 52 Young Justice designs where everyone's got a thick neck and just looks really blocky, like Harley looks like an actual woman. She's not like this like blocked arms like they have in the new 52.
You know what it is too? It's like the first two seasons of Young Justice had so much more money, and they had to deal with a smaller budget for season 3. Here they developed the show with the budget in mind, so they knew where to cut corners and what everything was supposed to look like. So, you know, it feels better. Yeah. So, that looks fucking great. I'm excited for that. That's going to be good. And also did really well for my channel, too. This and Young Justice. So please let both those things come back so I can eat.
Yeah, people like them.
They really, really do. People like those. They don't care for my Star Wars reviews.
I found that as well. I found that, like, I keep doing the Star Wars comics, and like people talk about it endlessly, but don't want anything to do with the comics or anything.
It's shocking. It's like, you know, is it something I'm doing wrong? The last one I did with Ahsoka did the best ever, probably because, you know, people were excited for that character to come back, and because of the news about the Rosario Dawson thing. But yeah, it's just surprising. And then I'm like, well, no, I gotta at least see Clone Wars to the end so I can justify talking about Mandalorian, because more people like that, or might like.
I'm gonna wait until Clone Wars is over and probably do like a whole like series review on every season of it or something.
That might actually work better because, you know, again, it's all very arc-based storytelling. Like, the episode from this week was good, but so very much just the slow burn start of a bigger story.
Oh, yeah, it totally was just setting up everything.
These are the characters, this is the world, this is the rules we're living by, and now we'll continue with stuff next week. Yeah. All right, so what do we got from there? Ooh, our last story this week, and something I didn't expect to talk about. Infinite Destinies, or Infinity Destinies, is going to be the next big Infinity-style event from Marvel, and they've already spoiled in solicitations. Oh shit, it looks like OG Nick Fury is coming back at some point.
Yes, or as I like to call this event, Dice Infinistis. Because whoever designed that fucking title should be shot.
Yeah, look at them having fun with the font and everything. Aren't you clever? Aren't you clever with the fonts and everything? Honestly, I forgot that this was actually picking up from where the last Infinity story left off, and that is the Infinity Stones became people.
Became people, or in the case of like Soul Stone and stuff, kind of just like went about it like became sentient and just like left. So like you've got characters like Adam Warlock who are searching for it and stuff like that. But yeah, some of them became people. Nothing really ever happened with that.
Yeah, I mean, they do say something kind of interesting about this, because when I first heard this story, I'm like, oh god, we just did an Infinity story cycle. I don't want to do another one. But admittedly, they said two things that made me kind of interested. The first thing is that this is actually going to tie into what Solid and Amid is doing in the Miles Spider-Man book right now, and that is, hey, remember that creepy dude with like the Lovecraftian corporation called the Assessor who kidnapped Miles and tortured him and looked like he was trying to figure out about the Ultimate Universe and everything?
Okay.
He's involved in this. And then also the way they're releasing the book is kind of interesting, too, where it's like, look, it's not going to be its own book. It's going to be a series of annuals featuring more popular, more prominent heroes like Iron Man and Captain America meeting these new Infinity Stone people.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And on the covers here, you got the guy with the time stone. I'm just trying to remember whether that was the guy who was technically a serial killer who got it while he was in prison and used it to escape prison. I don't think it is.
I vaguely remember that story. Yes, yeah, there was a guy in jail and the stone came to him and everything and he escaped. But that was so fucking long ago now.
The Raptors came after him or something. I can barely remember.
Yes. That was, goddamn, they waited a long time to tell this story, didn't they? They're striking while the iron is ice cold.
Just when you need to.
And I bet you, I fucking bet you, the way that they're setting this up, where these characters are going to join, famous Avengers for stories, I bet when it's all done, they're going to spin off into a new book, and it's going to be called The Infinity Watch, and it's going to star all these characters.
I'm still waiting for them to bring, because they for a while there, they did those Infinity Warps, those characters that were merged, like Spider-Man and Moon Knight and all that. They did that for like an issue each, and then they're like, these characters don't exist anymore. And I'm like, they were really interesting characters though.
They were fun. And also, I mean, shit, it's not like you guys are going to be able to do another DC crossover or another amalgam anytime soon. So Marvel's like throwing up their hands and like, fuck it, we'll do our own amalgam. And we'll have Blackjack and hookers and Spider Knights. And you'll love it. Because, again, they make a point at the end of that book to be like, okay, we saved their universe, though, if anyone ever wants to do anything with these characters ever again.
They did, and they did a follow-up with, like, they all got, like, one-shots, and then that was it. Like, no one... And all the one-shots were just that. They were just, like, stories from those universes, and that's it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is Infinite Destinies. I don't know. Could be good. Depends what else is going on at the time.
Yeah.
Because Marvel's pretty fucking stacked at the moment with stuff.
Oh, they've got this Empire. I guess Children of the Atom might be its own sort of little event.
X of Swords.
X of Swords. What else we got?
There's so much going on.
Yeah, that's
right
four.
Now.
That's four.
And they're all going to have tie-ins.
Oh, God.
So, get ready for that. And again, I'm sure some of it will be pretty good, but at the same time, too, I'm just like, man, you're asking a lot of me right now, Marvel. I'm enjoying it, but don't take advantage of my good faith in you at the moment.
It will actually be very interesting, like just looking at the comic industry in general, because of the coronavirus, it'll probably, see a surge, but then also people aren't working and getting paid, so how are they going to buy these comics?
And comics, while they are important art that I love so much, they are niche, and they are a frivolous expense.
Oh, yes.
I mean, not to me, because, I, get to write them off on my taxes, which, fuck, I haven't done that this year. Okay, the government extended it. You have to, August to do it before they charge you any extra, but I might also be behind for a couple other years I need to do, but,
So if we don't do the show 1 week, it's because Joel's in jail for tax evasion.
Tax evasion. Oof.
Gets the cell next to Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're Blade. What's up, man? Some motherfuckers always try to ice skate uphill. Here's the thing. I know people who are way more behind than me. Actually, is the thing. It's not so much I'm avoiding them, it's I'll get to them eventually when I have the money, because I know being a YouTuber and being like a freelance creator, I got to file for a loss every year, and then last year it was the first time I ever actually owed the government money, where before it's like, hey, filed for a loss, give me my tax return, and it was awesome, and I'm like, hey, guess who's paying for dinner tonight, everyone? But then after that one, they're like, okay, you owe us X amount of money. I'm like, no, you give me money, I don't give you money. Oh, fuck.
I'm lucky I've never owed the government money, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it was the first time I had ever owed them money, and I'm just like, man, being an adult sucks. Gotta pay them. I see what my dad was so mad about all the time. That's why. But yeah, there's your tax talk, everyone. If anyone ever wants to become a YouTuber or a freelance creator, that's what you're gonna have to deal with, everybody. All right, so there's the news, everyone. Now, should we talk about what we read this week, or maybe just talk about a couple big books, or we can hop into the fun segment that I put together for this, and that is we can read hypothetical situations in comic book universe as submitted by the fans. Our Would You Rather game.
Well, let's do comics first, then do that, because that might spawn some new things in the chat.
Okay, cool. Well, let's just talk about a couple big ones then, because we don't have to talk about every little one, because I do want to save some time for the show. Yeah. Where would you like to start, Matt?
Well, let's start with Hell Arisen finally finished up.
Ugh, thank God, not a moment too soon.
Oh, yeah.
What a bullshit 4 issues that was. Like, I don't think I've been this disappointed in a DC story in a long time, because it had everything it should to be good. James Tynion wrote it. He's a good writer. It had Apex Lex, who you and I were enjoying. I know we were kind of in the minority on that one.
Yeah, we were really enjoying that. It sort of started at the beginning of in the first 2 issues at least, looked to like maybe explain some of the stuff that the Justice League book either couldn't get to or was relegated to this book. And then these last 2 issues just like threw that out the window. It's like, nah, Batman Who Laughs is cool. Batwank, bankwank, bankwank.
Yeah, it turns out this was all completely avoidable, completely ignorable. This really had nothing to offer. And what it did offer was like, ooh, didn't you want to see, Joker and Lex have it out from what happened in Justice League? No, I got the gist of that. Oh, well, then you want to see Apex Lex fight the Batman Who Laughs? Not really.
No, he's got no, as he said in these books, he's of no consequence to him. Didn't need to fight him.
Didn't you love it too when Luthor's like, he's corrupted all the superheroes? Well, he's corrupted the B team of superheroes as the A-listers have gone. Oh, I'll bring together my year of the villain army, all of those villains that I have been empowering. But wait, didn't a bunch of these villains already get defeated, and shouldn't they not be? Perpetua has broken time. Also, why don't these villains talk to each other or to you in this time? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. We're trying to tie it together and have it make sense, even though it makes none.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And then, then just to cap it all off, we find out that this has all been part of the Batman Who Laughs plan, because of course it has been. He meant for all of this to happen so he could get into Perpetua's mind and like make her go crazy and take her, like make her his puppet.
Can we take a couple steps back to even before that? The other thing that completely chapped my balls is after all this big, like, ooh, the infected Secret Six, ooh, they're sleeper agents for the Batman Who Laughs. They could be anywhere. We dedicated a whole Batman Superman arc to this, and they literally get defeated by Lex in a couple pages, and then they get depowered in this issue. They add nothing. They provide nothing. They're completely useless.
That whole thing felt like it was... That whole thing felt like it was meant to be a lot longer, and someone at DC cut the knees out of it, because it felt like, because they did that whole thing. It was like, who are the Secret Six? And they had like that big page that had all the characters on it in like a chessboard, and it's like, who are the Secret Six? And they like almost immediately tell you who they all are. And it felt like it should have been like a long haul sort of summer story where every now and then you find out someone who is infected, and then until you get the whole Secret Six. But nope.
You know what it probably was? It was probably a matter too of like, well, we're canceling Supergirl. We're burying the Shazam book right now, so it's not going to tie in. Hawkman has his fans, but we're not going to make Hawkman the center of this story. Blue Beetle doesn't have a book. Gordon's a background character, so
Again, why choose those particular characters? Like, I could understand Gordon because of his ties with Batman Who Laughs, and that sort of book, but like Supergirl and like all that sort of stuff feels like it was just like an afterthought.
I mean, I thought it was to elevate those characters and give them something to do and put eyes on their books, but no.
Well, half of them don't even have books, so...
And half of them don't even have fucking books, so,
Yeah.
That's good.
It was so weird, and then, it finished. I'm glad it just capped it off, even though Supergirl's book is still dealing with the fact that she's infected.
Oops.
Yeah, so they kind of fucked that up in terms of the timeline and all that sort of stuff. I did like, however, Lex's little bit in this, how he was talking about how like I was just a man, and then I defeated the crime syndicate and Forever Evil, and then the universe fucked me over because they brought back the crime syndicate, and it was like the universe trying to remind him that he is just so small, but because Lex is so arrogant, he doesn't realize that all of this stuff has been like Perpetua playing him like that vision he saw of like the future, that everyone loved him and everything. That was all Perpetua like fucking with him.
And again, too, it's like, again, I agree that's the only redeeming part of this book, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, I already knew this as a fan. You didn't need to come out and tell me this. I was well aware. And even if you wanted to have this scene, you could easily put it at the beginning of Death Metal if you wanted, although I don't know how important Luther's going to be to Death Metal, because really the only thing worth of note that happens here is that he gets depowered after all the shit with Apex Lex and I'm so strong and I can fight the Justice League and whackety schmackety do. Perpetua just takes his god mod away, just takes away his toys.
That just feels like the whole point of this series, just to put Lex back as like a normal human. That's just all it feels like it.
And it's like, didn't you also do a Year of the Villain thing where it's like, no, but if he dies though, he has a backup body and everything.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they set up that whole Year of the Villain Lex Luthor issue, which was fantastic. And yeah, it set up that he has this backup body, which sought to imply that he was going to die, and he were going to get like a younger Lex, or like a more traditional Lex back.
So, in case you're playing along at home, literally nothing that happened in Hell Arisen mattered, because nothing that happened in the Year of the Villain actually mattered. In fact, none of the changes they've made have lasted or stuck around.
No, this has to be like the shortest a change has like not stuck. Has to be.
I mean, you can't even say it's stuck, because they never did it. Something happened in one book that it never carried over. I've never seen them just no-sell a thing, and it's not even like that was like a couple months worth of stores. No, you did this shit for a year, an actual literal year, and none of it mattered.
That's what really like confused me. It's like, it's been a year since this happened. I'm like, really? What? A year? Really? It feels like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you wasted a goddamn year for no reason.
Yeah,
holy
only
shit.
because you wanted to do what you did in the New 52 again.
But do a bigger version of it, proving that bigger is not always better. Yeah. Fuck that story. On that to a good DC story that we actually both really enjoyed, and just so happened to be outside continuity, DC's Unkillables.
Yeah, this was a fantastic book.
Boy, was it. I really take my hat off to Tom Taylor, that even when he's telling, like, a gross, scary, horrifying zombie tale, the moral is ultimately about finding the humanizing moments in everyone, even the villains who are forced to rise to the occasion here and find their better angels as well.
Yeah, he has this knack. He did it in Injustice all the time, where they have these kind of quiet moments between all of like people being ripped in half and whatnot, where like the characters can just like sit down and just like be human.
Also, can I say too, can we gloat a little bit here? We joked after that first issue where we're like, wouldn't it be funny if Bane started a book club and started reading to the children? And holy shit, he does it here.
But he can't read properly because the mask muffles his voice.
And children, and that is why the downfall of society was actually their own fault. I'm sorry, Mr. Bane, I don't get... Oh, you don't understand? No, I totally understand. I just can't hear you through the mask. Oh. And then later he's not wearing the mask.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I really enjoyed like Gordon having to sort of step up and become the leader of this group, but also have to do things like it takes like Floyd to tell him like, hey, the world isn't like how it used to be. You can't play by your rules anymore. You're going to have to teach these children how to be an army, because this is the world they live in now.
I love that Deathstroke respects Gordon so much, where it's like, yeah, you kept law and order in the most hellish city on earth. Of course you're good.
Yeah, I did like that line as well. It's like, wow, did you really think that you didn't have any corrupt cops in your force? Because you definitely did, and a lot of them worked for me.
Worked for me. The best bit too is like, did you lose someone? My daughter. And Deathstroke like, yeah, I lost my sons. And I'm like, oh shit. I guess that's why he went after Rose first, because I thought it was funny that he went after Rose first, because it's like, oh, I guess fuck Jericho, huh? Which this seeks to imply that he did go after Jericho first, but Jericho was already dead.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rose, you were actually the third choice. Well, no, I guess their other son was technically already dead. Different adaptations forget about that there was a third Deathstroke kid.
Yeah.
Who was the original Ravager who died first.
I liked the little Jason Todd Rose sort of romance and that Deathstroke, which in any other book he would like disapprove of their relationship. He's like, no, go for it. This is the end of the world. You're all gonna die anyway. Might as well have some fun.
Yeah. I love, too, where it's like, of course, they, fall for each other over their mutual hatred of their dads. Oh, my dad's such a dick. No, my dad's such a dick. Oh, God, you're so hot. You want to talk about how big of dicks our dads are? Yeah, totally. I hate my dad. No, I hate my dad more. It's fun. It's good stuff. Even little character moments, too, like Deadshot teaching kids, being like, okay, I can't give you actual guns because you're children, but I'm going to teach you how to break a skull with a slingshot.
Yeah,
and then when the little...
Yeah.
Then when the little kid he's training gets grabbed, Deadshot actually proves to be quite heroic, jumping after him.
Yeah, getting his legs cut off.
Shame. Yeah, but still treated better than he is most of the time.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty cool part where... Mirror Master becomes infected, because that, like, oh my god, that's actually quite terrifying. He can appear anywhere where there is a mirror or any mirrored surface.
It reminds you that Mirror Master, were he not a dumbass, would actually be like god tier because there's so many reflective surfaces everywhere, yet he only chooses to rob banks.
Yeah, I was really looking forward. They could do it, but I was hoping they'd get creative with that reflective surface thing. Where it's like, oh, he can appear on any reflective surfaces, and he like breaks out of like Floyd's reflective helmet, like comes out of like the reflective surface, and the helmet rips through his head and whatnot. But yeah, we got a cool Wonder Woman scene who rips Vandal Savage in half, though.
That's the good. I love Vandal Savage. Is like, I'm the villain of this story. I'm taking over. No, you're not, man. Zombies are the villain of this story, not you. It's pretty great too. I mentioned Mirror Master. I'm like, yeah, what would Mirror Master be like if he was smart? I'd be like, oh, well, he'd be Eve McCulloch. He'd be the villain of Flash this season.
Yeah.
Which I like the writers of that show are like, yeah, this Mirror Master has a great power set. What if he wasn't a dumbass though?
Yeah, what if he actually used the power he has to like actual villain stuff? He'd be very powerful.
Yeah. Well, then he'd be a totally different character. Okay, let's make a totally different character then. Let's drop a letter. I love with just the drop of a letter, and Evan becomes Eva. That's good shit. All right, what else did we both have this week? I guess we both had Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A bit of a less stacked issue than we have had in the past. The real takeaway here is the Joker actually telling his side of the story of the meeting with the designer.
Yeah, I like that at the start, explaining like all the players of the game and how he saw the designer as like the devil kind of, and his whole deal was that he wanted to be the devil.
Right, I didn't want to take a handout. What's great, too, about Tynan's version of Joker, which is different even than Snyder's version of Joker, is his Joker tells actual jokes.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand about, because he wrote Hell Arisen as well, and it's completely different in that. I'm like, this guy has a handle on these characters. Why are they so different here?
You know what I think it is? I'm pretty sure they threw that on his lap when he didn't want it, because he was probably developing Batman and finishing up Justice League Dark. He probably couldn't have handled another project, didn't want it, and was like, okay, let's just get this shit done then.
Yeah, true.
That's what I think it really breaks down to. I think he's a talented guy who was under the gun. But I mean, yeah, the Batman book, that's pretty much the long and short of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was pretty interesting. They do seek to imply at the end there where it's like, oh shit, Riddler was kidnapped, but maybe now he's actually working with the designer, which means maybe Deathstroke and Batman have to team up.
Yeah, I like that. I like that part at the end where that he's got him up on the jet and he's like showing him the city and people that live there and what he fights for and whatnot.
And Deathstroke being like, what is it, friggin' Tommy Lee Jones from Fugitive? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I don't care, pay me. And it's great because this is like Batman coming undone in a way you don't normally see him, where he's just yelling at Deathstroke like, care, damn it, why don't you care? I'll splatter us both right now. And Deathstroke's like, no, you won't. Fine, you want to play chicken and see I won't?
That's the thing, like, James Tynion has undone Batman more than what Tom King did in his 80-plus issues.
And, like, it makes perfect sense where it's like, yeah, Batman's tired. He's literally been going for days now fighting the designer because the designer has, like, 4 separate master crimes all happening at once.
Yeah, he's been pushing himself too far.
Yeah, and he'll eventually break under. I also like, too, that Catwoman and Harley Quinn have their own little side story, and they're like, okay, how do we help Batman? We steal Bruce Wayne's fortune before he gets the chance. And I'm like, all right, that's cool business for them. I like when Catwoman steals things, but for the right reasons.
Yeah, and the book ends with, I guess, Riddler enacting his part of the plan that the designer had.
Yes, which his was one of the weirdest. I want to prove I'm smarter than everyone else. I especially want to prove I'm smarter than the cops of Gotham. Really? Why them specifically?
Yeah, well, why those cops specifically? I'm sure there'll be a good reason why.
Yeah. I just thought that was funny. Like, penguins make sense. You know, I want to rule the city. I want to be mayor. That tracks and also is very similar to both the Batman movie and also, what is it, an old episode of the Adam West TV show where he wanted to be mayor. So that's, like, baked into his character.
Yeah, but yeah, the Riddler one does seem weird. I'm guessing it's just going to play into the fact that he always wants to have, like, a riddle or, like, a game going. And this is just, like, a bigger game than he's usually played.
Yeah, I want to prove, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, the guardians of your city can't help you because they're ultimately dumb, and I'm revealing how dumb they are because me, I'm big smarty man.
Yeah, as Amazing Spider-Man says, the Riddler's going to unleash Corona on Gotham.
Oh, no.
The worst.
Oh, no. It's funny, too. Did you see he also has a new costume now that's actually a lot closer to his Frank Gorshin costume?
Yeah, he does. It looks great.
Yeah, he dropped the suit and picked it up, and I'm like, this is retro. I love it. This is Riddler being like, nah, man, everything that's old is new again. Just wearing a onesie covered in question marks. Did you actually read Outlawed this week, Matt, or did you skip that one? Because I know you weren't reading Champions.
Nah, I skipped it.
It's I will say this. It is definitely off to a much better start than Civil War 2. Thematically, it is very similar to the first 2 Civil Wars, or to the first Civil War, where, you know, heroes have to fight for their right to exist. In this case, it's young heroes. The actual, like, accident that they cause, no one actually gets hurt or dies during it. Well, actually, that's not true. Vision is the one they end up killing.
Okay.
But it's a total accident. It's that they're fighting one of the dragons left over from the War of Realms. Viv's like, oh, you know, I'm going to, like, you know, punch it at Mach speed. And then Power Man is like, oh, I'm going to give you a chi boost so, you know, you can fly and hit that much harder. But that apparently ends up causing her to malfunction. And she becomes like this weird energy lightning rod, stops the dragon, but destroys a building and almost kills an important VIP. And basically the champions get blamed for it, even though they saved the day.
Yeah, so, yeah, very much like the starting salvo for Civil War 1 with Speedball and the school.
Only not in such bad taste because they didn't murder a bunch of children. And again, too, I'm just like, how come no one brings up, like, yo, it's fucking Viv, man. She's a robot. We'll just rebuild her. We rebuild Vision all the goddamn time.
Yeah, so they don't bring that up at all.
No, they don't bring that up at all. It's funny, too, the VIP who they're trying to save, again, tying into the much bigger thematic idea this story is pushing, and that is, you know, what place do young heroes, young activists have in the world of comics to try and tie it to a real world thing. The idea is that the VIP the champions have to save is a young 16-year-old climate crusader who Roxxon, the oil company, was trying to murder her. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see who she's supposed to represent. I see this. And Kamala Khan actually manages to save her, is the funny thing. But she wasn't in costume when they did it. So when they passed this new law outlawing teenage superheroes, they call it Kamala's Law.
Oh, jeez.
So she's laid up in the hospital, and they've named this horrible new law after her. They build a, military police force called Cradle to enforce it and to break up everything. And it's hilarious because Speedball of the New Warriors is one of the people leading this team, and he's taking away the champion's shit, and he's like, yep, this job's too dangerous, kids. You'll thank me later. Trust me, I should know.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, wow, way to rub such salt in the wound, fucking Speedball, fuck you.
Do they bring up the fact that, like, yeah, this whole outlaw thing, it, like, makes sense, but, like, do they bring up the fact that why are they going after just the children? Why not all vigilantes like Punisher and all that? Why are they excluded and just the children are the only ones being focused on?
Literally, the idea they seek to imply is that this is all the work of, like, a slimy, blame-shifting politician whose, name escapes me.
Yeah, I remember
Basically,
seeing him on the news. And,
yeah. The idea is that he's going after the champions because the champions are an easy target to score, political points for him in his career. He couldn't go after Captain America. In fact, Captain America sticks up for the children here, saying, I was part of the greatest generation. I enlisted in the army basically when I was these kids' age. And I think the further idea, too, is that, Nova kind of gets under his skin by saying, kids die every day all over the world, right? Be it in, Somalian child armies dying of starvation, drug abuse, suicide, school shootings, etc., etc. And you fucking stuffed suits don't do anything about it. So instead of actually going after a problem that mattered, you're going after us because we're easy targets.
Okay.
So it's much more than Civil War II that, kind of oversimplified a very complicated issue. This one's like, no, we actually are going to try and deep dive a complicated issue.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yes. So there's a lot of, heady themes and ideas going on here. The only thing I didn't like about it is that the art isn't great.
Oh, really? Who's the artist behind it?
Oh, the name escapes me now. The problem is, like, it's fine art, but it's very cartoonish and over-exaggerated, kind of a bad fit for a book that's trying to be, all political and timely.
Yeah. But again, they got to relate it to the kids, and I guess, like, kids wouldn't pick up art if it was done by, like, Alex Maleev or someone.
That's true. I could see that being a thing they fought about in the room and being like, no, it's got to be like this. And also, too, the story's going to continue in the Miles Spider-Man book and the Miss Marvel book, and those are going to have their regular art team. So there you go.
Oh, that's good.
It's also, like, people keep referring it to Civil War because it has a very similar start. I don't see it that way because so far heroes aren't fighting each other. In fact, the entire superhero community is behind the children, minus the New Warriors, but fuck the New Warriors.
Yeah, I imagine something will happen that'll shift like the people's, like, view on them.
Right. They do make Miles kind of the wet blanket at first when the media's like, is it safe for these teen heroes? Is anyone safe around these teen heroes? And Miles is like, maybe they have a point. And everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Miles. Now is not the time to say that shit. And normally, I would actually kind of be on Miles's side, where it's like, well, he lost his uncle and his father kicked him out. I'm like, nope, no, wait, that was the Ultimate Universe. None of those things happened anymore. His uncle is alive and his dad loves him more now than ever. Why is he the one saying this? Why is he the one backing this thing? Because obviously someone has to. It's just weird that it ended up being him, it seems.
Yeah. I imagine I have to imagine that, like, maybe they came up with a story when young Cyclops was around because he seems like someone who would back this.
Which, again, hey, that's funny too. This Champions team, no mutants on it because we were talking about Children of the Atom. No mutants on it now.
Yeah.
Cyclops would have been the one lone mutant voice if he was still around. So that's Outlawed. Outlaw's pretty cool. Do you have one more book, Matt? Then we can talk about these fun scenarios people shot us.
I do. I had Guardians of the Galaxy issue 3.
Ooh, I haven't read this yet. Do tell.
Yeah, so this was actually quite cool because the first, I think, 4 or 5 pages is all in Groot speak. So we see the book, we see it from Groot's point of view, where he talks like a normal person, but everyone else says, like, I am Gamora or I am Hercules. But the thing is, you completely understand what's happening. And what's happening is Rocket and Hercules and that are coming back from their mission that got Peter Quill killed, and Gamora learns that Peter Quill was killed, and she blames Rocket and Hercules for it, and they are effectively off the team and not allowed back on Half-World anymore, because if they do come back, Gamora will kill them. And Groot is, like, kind of stuck in the middle because he knows it's not their fault and everything and wants to try and help, but he can't do anything, so he's kind of left there on his own. And a majority of the book after that is Moondragon and Drax dealing with the fact that there is multiple versions of Moondragon and Drax in the universe at the moment.
I saw that when I got through it, because, Infinity Wars left them in a weird place, and this isn't the main universe Moondragon and Phyla-Vell.
Yeah, so Moondragon realizes that she isn't, like, she says, like, there is someone out there who looks exactly like me, has the exact same name, but hasn't been touched by darkness, and is a heroic version of herself, and like the best version of herself. And she wonders if Drax knows what that feels like, to know that there is a better version of yourself out there that you can't ever be. And Drax of course knows that, because there's not only this Drax, which is the normal Drax, there's the old school version of Drax, which was recently brought back in that Donny Cates run, plus Arthur Douglas in the Soul Stone. So he's like,
yes, I remember that.
And
he
has memories kind of both of them, but he doesn't understand them because they're all fragmented. So he's like, which one am I? Am I these ones? Do I have to be any of these ones? Can I be my own person, or do I have to be Arthur Douglas, or do I have to be Drax the Destroyer? So he's right. Kind of trying to figure out who he is. After that, the rest of the story is basically Gamora dealing with the death of Peter, and she actually ends up getting into contact very briefly with the Master of the Sun, the guy that made...
I cannot believe Ewing brought
that. I know. The guy that made Peter Quill Star-Lord and everything, and it's very brief, but it seeks to imply maybe she'll be going after him, or like trying to like seek him out, maybe. But the end of the book is actually pretty cool, because we get Black Jack O'Hare back. And
I saw that too when I was reading through it. I'm like,
he's got his sort of Guardian sort of team that he's like basically running like a mercenary outfit that like hires out mercenaries for cheap for other people, kind of like the middleman. And he ends up hiring the Guardians for a job, and he doesn't know what the job is yet, but he learns from the beaver thing alien that like hires him that he's meant to kill Rocket Raccoon. And it's really funny because Blackjack didn't want to hire the Guardians because he thought Rocket was still on the team, and he hates Rocket. We're not really sure why.
Of course.
He absolutely hates Rocket, and that's like his number one rule. If Rocket's involved, he doesn't get involved. But yeah, he's been left to he's been given a mission to kill Rocket, but Rocket's not part of the Guardians anymore, so he hires the Guardians to kill Rocket.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ewing doing a lot of big ideas for that Guardians book. That is, kind of getting away from the movie and kind of getting more to the Abnett Lanning era.
It's yeah, they reference the Abnett Lanning era in this issue as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, because Gamora is remembering meeting Peter and stuff like that, and the Peter she meets is dressed up like the Star-Lord from the Abnett and Lanning run.
When our costumes were different.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny, I had all these questions put together because I thought it would be a funny way to help fill an episode, but honestly we're at an hour 30 already. Should we maybe end the show here and then maybe make that a special bonus?
Yeah, why not?
All right, cool. So thank you everyone for coming and watching the episode. Be sure to stick around here live on Twitch. We're going to do this, and this is going to be an extra Patreon thing. Maybe I'll put it up later if I need more content, if I want to like take a night off and watch that tiger documentary or something. But yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. We had a lot of people here, all 30
of you.
Well,
we got up to like 45 at one point, I think.
That's friggin' sick.
Yeah.
We're really glad, Matt and me, that we can be here and we can offer you some relief from your virus woes and everything, and we can be funny and talk about comics and shit for a little bit. And again, be sure to stick around because we're gonna be doing more right when this ends. So until then, everyone, thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the show first on Patreon if you can't catch the stream, and then everywhere else Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming out. So many of you came out. That's really great.
Yeah, whoop whoop indeed, chat. So hooray. And once we're done this, we're going to go and read some of your awesome submissions for comic book themed Would You Rather. So until then, everyone, I've been Joel.
I'm Matt.
And we'll see you all next week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.